Shalom, Most High Christ bless. I'm Officer Javali.
I'm Officer George. We're with TTIC. We're going to read our disclaimer right before we get started. TTIC, also known as the Truth in Christ, this is a Bible-based organization. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. We teach the Bible as it is written. We are not a hate group, nor do we teach violence. We do not condone any acts of hate or violence against any race, ethnicity, gender, and religious groups. We firmly believe in abiding by the laws in the city and state. If you witness any member of TTIC commit a crime, please contact us and the proper authorities. Thank you.
All right, shalom. Happy Sabbath to the brothers and sisters online. Happy Sabbath to the brothers and sisters in class today. Hope everybody's having a happy Sabbath. Today's Sabbath class is titled, What About My Oppressor? / Do I Have Stockholm Syndrome? So, what about my oppressor? Because after our people hear about this truth, or about the truth rather, the first thing they want to know is, what about the so-called white man? What about my oppressor? What about his salvation? I can't tell you how many times I've had a conversation, just a general conversation with a brother or sister, and before I can finish my spiel, I give them the full understanding of this little knowledge that I'm giving, or trying to share with them. They always break out with, well, what about the so-called white man? And it's not just him. We also got other oppressors. We got the Arabs that oppressed us. We got Africans that oppressed us. But they want to know directly, what about the white man? They always want to bring up, we have a loving God and he loves everybody. Surely they have a chance at salvation. What about the white man?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope as we go through this class, you'll get a little bit of edification on the thought process of our people and why they feel like they need to know the information on what about their oppressor. Let's start with Romans 9 and 13 real quick, because these are very basic scriptures that we break out to show our people about, God does hate. We show our people these basic things all the time, but they still don't seem to comprehend something when we bring these out and give the understanding of it. Let's go to Romans 9 and 13.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
So he said, Jacob have I loved, and as we know, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Can we pull that up real quick? What is that, Genesis 35? Got that verse down. Let's read it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
32, 27. Book of Genesis, chapter 32, verse 27. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed.
So he said, a prince that have power with man and have prevailed. So Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and Israel fathered the 12 tribes. All right, so I don't have to fully break that down, because our people should have a little basic understanding on that by now. If not, just hit us up, we'll break it down to you. All right, so we said Jacob. Let's go back to Romans 9 and 13.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
Read.
Verse 14. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion.
So we said, Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated. Let's go to Malachi 1 and verse 2.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, in verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord?
Read.
Yet I love Jacob.
She said, yet, though, I love Jacob. Like I said, Jacob followed the 12 tribes, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Read.
Yet I love Jacob, and I hated Esau.
He said, I love Jacob, but I hated Esau. Read.
And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains waste, and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
Read.
Verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
See, because we know that through history, coming into the Renaissance era, the rebirth when the white man came back into power, but also too, let's bring it up a notch to the speed of today. Just like now, maybe what is that? 3 or 4 months ago, maybe there was a major tornado down in one of these parts of Kentucky,
Mayfield,
Kentucky, and every single time a natural disaster, something like a tornado or a hurricane comes through and ravishes a town or a city, the first thing that Edom does, and this is to prove to you, to show you who they are. This is just a clue, just an identification clue or a sign. Is they always say, we will what? Rebuild. We will rebuild and come back stronger. Mm-hmm. So this philosophy, this mindset has been there throughout the course of their existence. They have that mindset that whatever comes our way, we will rebuild.
That's right.
But God says what? Read it one more time, that last little part.
It reads, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
See, but God says he's going to throw down. Just give you a little bit of example of today. Let's go to Isaiah 29 and verse 6. Because we got to remember, he said, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. And Esau, their whole mindset is, whatever happens, we will rebuild, we will get stronger, we will get better, we will last longer. That's their whole mindset. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire.
Was that it?
Yes.
See, so God says, read one more time.
Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest.
See, that's one thing that they cannot stop. You know, God, when God throws down that tornado, that F5 tornado, at a hellacious hurricane or something like that, they cannot stop that thing from happening. It don't matter if they just spent $1 billion to build up a place that was already torn down from something else. When God says he's going to come back and visit that place again and destroy it again and throw down that place again, that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. You know, there is nothing that this nation of people can do. When God says, you know what, I'm going to put down, they could have just rebuilt everything. Like right now, they're rebuilding right now, but there's been little light tornadoes that's been going through this little town still. It hasn't done much damage, but they can rebuild. But whenever God decides he wants to throw it down, he's going to throw it down.
That's right.
You know, this nation will fall. You know, they have that mindset. It's been like that from the beginning. They have that mindset that no matter what, we will rebuild and we will come back stronger. But God says he will throw down. Let's go to 2 Esdras 6 and verse 54. Because we got to keep in mind is our people, they have this mindset, and even though our people's woke, or some of our people still have this mindset, but the majority of these people have this mindset is our people that still haven't came in to the knowledge yet. You know, they're still their mindset is still plagued. And this is let's bring this up real quick.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, in the Apocrypha, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all.
So yeah, we all come from Adam. We know that. We know we all come from Adam. But watch this, read.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
And also the people whom thou hast chosen. So I'm gonna show you, we're gonna break that down a little bit more, but he said also the people whom thou hast chosen, read.
Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake.
So he made the world for the chosen people's sake. So even though everybody came from Adam, he has a chosen or selected group of people that this world was made for. Go ahead, you got something? No, okay, go ahead, read.
Verse 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing.
See, so he's letting you know that these other nations, they don't compare to Israel. They are nothing compared to God's chosen people. Read.
But be like unto spittle.
So we know that spittle is we can spit on the concrete all day long. We ain't thinking about that spit. We don't even go back to see what happens to the spit, how fast it dries up or whatever. We don't care about that spit. It wasn't nothing but, some bodily fluid that we done expelled, and we don't care nothing about it.
That's right.
So God's letting you know that these nations do not compare to his chosen people. He doesn't even think twice about these other nations compared to the nation of his chosen people. Read.
And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
See, so a drop that falleth from a vessel, it's just a little bitty drop. To the grand scheme of it, that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
That drop is not worth nothing. Because you're still holding something that's greater than that drop. Read.
Verse 57. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathens, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us.
So these nations that was like spittle or drop from a vessel now has begun to be over God's chosen people. Read.
And to devour us. Verse 58. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands.
See, so we have been given into the hands of a nation that does not mean nothing compared to us. Read.
Verse 59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure?
See, so that was the question that he was posing right there. Why ain't we ruling right now? Why ain't we the ones? If we the best thing that you have ever created, we are your chosen. Why ain't we ruling right now? That's the question we got to ask ourselves right now today. But we so worried about the so-called white man, how he's going to get saved, and how can we put him along with us?
Like how do they fit into the grand scheme of things?
How do they that has been reputed as nothing, how do they fit in with the whole grand scheme of things? There you go. Let's go to Isaiah 40 and verse 17. So where do we adopt this mindset? I mean, because it's mind-boggling that this thing is even a topic, because our people should be on one accord with one another. We shouldn't be worried about nobody but our people.
That's right.
But again, we got this mindset, and it came from somewhere. We're going to continue on with the class stuff.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 17. All nations before him are nothing.
See, so that's what we was going over in 2nd Esdras 6, and what was that, verse 50? 6 and 7, I believe, right? Yeah, 56 and 7. They what now? Read it again.
Isaiah 40 and 17. All nations before him are as nothing.
See, so all these nations are nothing compared to God's chosen, compared to his Israelites, his chosen people. They are nothing. Read.
And they are counted to him less than nothing.
See, they counted to him less. I gave him a little bit more credit than what they deserve right there then. Because he said they are less than nothing. Read.
And vanity.
All right, what verse is that?
Verse 17, that's the end of it.
Okay. All nations before him are nothing. Let's go up to verse, let's go up to verse 15. That's what I'm going to start with.
Isaiah 40 and verse 15.
Read.
Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance.
See, so there he goes again. He says they are like a drop from a bucket. This worthless compared to his chosen people. Read.
Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering.
Read.
All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing.
See, so,
vanity.
See, they are counted to him as less than nothing. Now, this ain't no hate speech or hate campaign against the white man. All right, we understand that our people also, take part in this self-destructive, what they call self-destructive psychological behavior. I know that was a lot right there. It's a mouthful. But we know that our people take part in that destructive psychological behavior, what they call menticide. You got your phone on you? Let me just look up a definition real quick. They call it menticide.
Menticide?
Menticide. I'm going to tell you how to spell it. It's going to come up a different way than how I got it spelled out here, though, this way. Right there.
Let's see.
All right, the definition of menticide, what does that say?
The definition of menticide, brainwashing.
Okay, now let's go down here to dictionary.com. Let's look at that.
Menticide, the systematic effort to undermine and destroy a person's values and beliefs as by the use of prolonged interrogation, drugs, torture, etc., and to induce radically different ideas.
So when you sit here talking about what about our oppressor, what about the white man? You know what they call that is self-destructive psychological behavior, which means menticide, which means you have been brainwashed systematically. You have been systematically brainwashed out of your belief system by the use of what? Drugs and torture. Interrogation.
And this is done over a period of time.
Over a period of time. Now let's I don't want to pass this up because that says the systematic effort. Let's look up the definition of systematic. Because our people have been brainwashed systematically.
Systematic.
And let's look up that definition of systematic, because this right here is heavy. Because we thinking that when we asking these questions, we are, we thinking that we doing it out of the kindness of what they call kindness of your heart and having compassion for people. But really, we're not even seeing that. Really, that's a problem. That is a psychological behavior problem. But read systematic.
Okay, first definition. It's done or acting according to a fixed plan or system methodically.
So something that's systematic is something that was done according to plan. It was planned out, mapped out by a system.
The symbols here again is
Structured
or methodical.
Methodical. Let's get some more on that. Some more symbols up there. Planned, organized,
orderly, well ordered, systematized.
So we can't skip over that. Well ordered. That means it wasn't just thrown out on the table and said, let's see if let's just try this. No. This was actually planned. That means it was well. It said well planned. That means it was thought out, carefully thought out. How can we get these people to attach to us emotionally? Damn.
Man. I mean, they got a whole lot of these symbols down here. Well-ordered, planned, routine, standardized. Standard.
So let's look on that routine real quick. Let me see what that goes into.
Routine. A sequence of actions regularly followed. A fixed program.
So that means like if they was to take somebody, right, and they would give him a routine to see how he follows this routine. You know, they would have it mapped out to where you have a routine that they make this person follow day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, week after week, to check out the cycle, to see how they can manipulate the mindset.
Teach how to create a habit.
That's how you create a habit. There you go. So this was systematically done. This brainwashing technique was systematically done. Now, before I get into the scripture part of it, it's just like when we read the Willie Lynch. I don't know if you've ever read the Willie Lynch letter. Have you read it before?
Yes.
Okay, we've read it. A lot of us read the Willie Lynch letter. And within that letter, they show you how they broke the wild horses from their natural way of doing things to how they wanted to do it and stuff like that. And they would use that system on how they would break us from our natural use, our natural state, into something that was unnatural, routinely. That's what all this is going into. So they systematically done this thing to break your mind, to break you. So it's just like if we was coming up how the Bible tells us to come up, right? We came up within our nation. We came up off of marriage. We came up off of morals according to God, not according to man, but we had morals and values. So we had to get married to our women. Then we would have children. We had an order of how the man conducts his business in the house, how the woman conducts her business, how we're supposed to take care of the children. But when you systematically break that cycle, now you got, okay, let's throw in him as a breeder. Not a father, a breeder. Let's bring women in here, let's breed him. Let's just have different women come in, different men come in. Let's breed these people. Now that's taking you outside of your natural state and taking you into something that's unnatural. That's what this is all going into. That's what I'm trying to show you. How your mindset has been broken and altered. Systematically. Planned out. Thought out. Done routinely. So when we hear people out on the street and our people talking about, well, what about the oppressor? What about the white man? All this thing is playing in our mind like, damn, brother, you are brainwashed. Boom. I mean, your brain is sent through what they call, what's the best washing machine?
say the best washing
Yeah, the best washing machine you ever had. LG or Kenwood or whatever it's called.
Kenmore.
Kenmore.
Yeah,
Your brain done been through the highest cycle of the Kenmore. They took your brain out, put it in there, and put all type of chemicals and all type of washing fluid, and just sent it through the highest cycle for the longest period of time.
It ain't even gray matter no more.
It ain't even gray matter.
They call it brain gray matter.
Gray matter.
It ain't even gray no more.
And then split you and put your brain right back in, and then put your head back and sew your head back up.
They done whitewash your brain.
Whitewash your brain. Been brainwashed.
But here, as you speak of the other similars, you know, you was breaking it all down. You know, this routine is a procedure or practice, act or performance. So when you was using the horses, breaking the horses, you know, that's a powerful beast. You know, but that routine they get accustomed to is like every morning at a certain time. They go to that stall, they get that animal out of there, and they send him through a routine of certain things that they do.
Yeah.
So that horse in his mind, after a while, it's like he knows first thing in the morning it's going to do such and such.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same way they did us.
Yeah.
Routinely.
That's exactly right. So, like I was saying, we know that our people take part in this, though, that self-destructive mindset or behavior. We know that because we can be down predominantly where a lot of our people live at, and it's our people. 9 times out of 10, it's our people that will steal a package off your porch or steal from you, jack your car, sell dope to you, rob you. You know, you could be driving at the stoplight. You got a challenge or a charge that one of these little young kids won't, and then next thing you know, you got 3 or 4 of our people, which little teenage boys. I'm gonna call black. Just say I'm just gonna use it. I know we ain't black. That's just a color. But so-called black young men, teenagers will run up on you and take you out your car. That's happening. That's our people doing that to us. We know that. We know our people take part in those things right there. But as we explain it to you, this self-destructive psychological behavior, your brain has been brainwashed. Now, this is the reason why you see a lot of these things going on that you're seeing. They're selling the dope to one another, killing one another, stealing from one another. That's not our natural state of doing things. Your mindset has been systematically brainwashed, fixed. You know, so that's why we saying it ain't no hate speech or campaign, but that's why when we hear things like that, what about the white man? What about the Earth man? What about the Africans? And we like, bro, that's why we shoot you down every single time, brother, because you sound crazy, man. And people look at it like, whoa, no, that's hate, man. That's not hate, that's real, man. You have been brainwashed. You don't got no compassion from that Negro you just stole from, but you'll have all type of compassion when we talk about the people getting saved for your oppressor. What about him? They didn't do nothing to me. He didn't do nothing to me. They're loving people.
I used to think also, and I say it time and time again when we have these conversations about this thing, and possibly somewhere along the line dealing with that routine and that systematic, what you call it, systematic brainwashing. Mm-hmm. From what our people would train to know about love and love of God, some kind of way it entered their mind as that they would, if they did this thing, worried about the other nations, they would find possibly more favor from God by doing so.
That's a point. That's a point. Because, like you said, you have been, and that's part of their tactics and techniques. That's part of their program, their plan, to make you think that you will obtain some type of favor from God for having compassion on them. Yes, that's the point. Let's go to Psalms 83 and verse 1 real quick. Let's get to some scripture.
That's systematic
Yeah, that's it.
83 and
Verse 1. Verse 1.
Okay. One of my favorite scriptures here.
Yes, sir.
Psalms 83, verse 1. Keep not thy silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
See, it says, they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Those that hate God, read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
So they have taken crafty counsel against thou people. Crafty counsel.
That's going back to what we were just talking about.
That's it.
That systematic brainwashing. That's crafty counsel.
That's crafty counsel. Read.
Against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Read.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
All right, so let's go back up to 2 real quick. It says, for lo, thy enemy. So that goes into different nations. That's not just talking about the so-called white man. That's going into different nations.
Yes.
There's more than just the so-called white man. There's different nations. So our people also that got that mindset towards the white man. What about the white man? Also got that mindset towards the other nations that oppress them.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Africans? What about the Arabs? They have that same energy towards them. It says that that their enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up their head, have taken crafty counsel.
So these people must have got together and planned this thing out.
That's what it's all. That's all this ties in, because as you can see, they have taken crafty counsel. That means they have sit around and devised a well thought out plan.
Yes.
Well thought out system. Well thought out routine. Control your thoughts, your mindset, control your actions. When they wake up, they're gonna be doing this. They're gonna be doing that. When they're this part of the day, they're gonna be doing this. They're gonna be doing this. They're gonna be doing that.
They created zombies without the drug.
Without the drug.
That's
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
One thing that our people will say also, along with answering that question about what about the other nations, a lot of our men have a tendency to always want to say that this Bible was theirs. Well, who wrote it?
Yeah.
That's the white man's book.
Yeah.
So that same brainwashing has caused them to even ask that kind of question.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Who wrote the book? That's the white man's book. Well, if it's the white man's book, brother, why is it that when I'm sitting here in the Old Testament, I don't see nothing about the white man? I see more about Africans than what I see about the white man. I only see the white man being mentioned maybe, two times, 3 times in this whole Old Testament, brother or sister. I mean, come on, man. That is that brainwashing. Your mind is still going through that cycle in that Kenmore washing machine.
They have a vision of thinking that they are a part of Israel some kind of way. Even though they see Israel countless times, some kind of way in their mind, they're visualizing all the other people being part of Israel.
Yep.
For spiritual. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that spiritual is what we talking about.
That's spiritual fringes.
Fringes.
Spiritual
laws.
Everything's spiritual.
And like the brother was just mentioned, he said, zombies without the medicine. And don't let them throw no medicine in there. That's even worse. Oh, that little black boy right there, he's got ADD, attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
Let's give him this pill. control him even more. Now he's really, really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, oh, you know what? Now he ain't got ADD. He's got ADHD. Let's give him another pill.
They stepped it up a notch. That's true.
That's true.
Because I was just about a week ago, I was on the bus stop talking to a young lady, and I was watching a little girl. And me and another gentleman about my age, we were sitting there smiling, just looking at the little kid, and we got to talking about that same thing.
Yeah.
Some kind of way we got on that topic. And I made mention, I said, man, we just got lively children. Our children are just lively, man. They full of spirit and energy.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with them. We got off into the part about some of this younger generation. All they needed was a good strap, I'm saying to myself, I said, we was the same way growing up. It was lively.
Yeah.
But there was some part of that discipline and things, the way the older generations handled us.
Yeah.
I didn't take no medicine.
No.
I got some of that BLT.
It's black leather. No.
What was they call it? A piece of leather well put together. That's what they used to say.
That's it. But that's what they want to keep doing, to keep dumbing down us even more and more, as they want to prescribe these medications. And our people right now, and not get too far off topic, but our people right now, they have a lot of our people have this issue, this drug issue, this pill issue, and they don't even recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these things is being pushed on us, and we don't even recognize that we taking part in it. Anytime you're out here on the street, you popping Molly, you popping the X, you doing this, we already know those are drug dealers, but we are drug addicts, so to speak. But we also know that there's also different forms of that people that they try to push upon you. Like, they got workout pills. They got this pill for this, a pill for that, a pill for this. We don't really know what those things is doing to our body or our mindsets. They throw out this superficial image of somebody who's got a super well built body, and they this and they that. I don't want to get too far because I got this later on, but they got this image that they portray out there. And you want this body? Take this pill.
In 90 days.
In 90 days. How the hell you going? I'm going to get ripped in 90 days just taking this pill. What the hell is in this pill? You don't even know that pill is killing all the cells in your body. And it's messing up your brain cells. Mm-hmm. Further keeping you down and brainwashed. All right? So, we finish on Psalm 83? Let's go. We stop it. Let's go to 4 from 4 on down.
Okay, we read 4. Okay, verse 4. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation."
See, so that system, that crafty counsel, we know that also goes into their politics, their policies, their school curriculum. It goes into all that. They're not just throwing stuff out there. Their school system, they got a curriculum that they teach, or they put out there that these teachers have to bring forth, because the ones that's over that, they say, they have to teach it this way. They have to have this in the classroom. They have to teach this. And if they don't go to school and learn that, we'll lock them up. We'll lock the parents up. We'll take the kids away from them. We'll force them to learn this thing right here. They're going to learn about Alexander the Great. They're going to learn about Caesar Augustus. They're going to learn about all that. They're going to learn about Caesar Borgia. And they can't put the dots together because, we've been brainwashed. Like I said, this is a systematic thing to keep our people brainwashed.
Yeah.
What's that? The UN take crafty counsel against us, the United Nations. All this thing done by design. They're not out here taking chances. This is actually well thought out and planned. So they've done an experiment on it. They've tested it.
Mm-hmm.
They've strategized on it. They try to perfect it. They think they got this thing down to the sinew, man.
They're doing it as we speak.
As we speak. So we know that that's psychological, destructive psychological behavior when our people's down there doing things, committing crimes against each other, you know. But there's also another side to that. You know, it's also meant to side for you to think yourself equal to these nations, when really you are above these nations.
That's right. That's right.
See, that's also part of that mental side, that brainwashing, that systematically brainwashing that they're doing.
That's why when we teach it, people look at us with a dumbfounded look.
Exactly.
You'll read that particular verse in the scripture, and there's no excitement in their eyes. They're just like, duh, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, man, when I heard that thing, I was like, wow, you know.
It's that spark from the boom. Oh, wow. But like you said, our people got that look on them, that dumbfounded look. Okay, well, you know what? We're above the nation. Nah, not us.
But what they see is what you read, what we was reading in Second Esdras.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we was down at the verses, and I know you want to probably move on. But you said this, man. It says that question that asked right here in verse 57. It says, "And now, O Lord, behold, these heathens which have ever been reputed as nothing, they have begun to be lords over us and devour us." So that's that systematic brainwashing and everything that you're speaking of, man, that has allowed this effect to take place.
Yeah.
So now when we read them out of "Thus saith the Lord," they can't see it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how can we be above when everybody's on top of us? We're doing, they can't, they looking at all the failures, where they at, working hard. It's a lot that goes to it. I mean, we could take them back, but when you look at the expressions in their faces, they just can't seem to get that, it ain't sinking in for real.
Yep. It's not sinking in. So, but that also, like I said, that's mental side. That's that brainwashing, that systematic brainwashing taking place. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7 verse 6, because we don't believe these things. These are basic scriptures that our people just does not believe. You tell a Negro, hey man, you above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. No, not us. Not the black man, not the ashy black man. No, not that Negro that's running through the streets high on crack. No, not that Negro. Not the one that can't keep a job. No. It can't be him. That can't be us. Nah.
Can't believe it.
They can't believe it. What about the white man?
Because they're supposed to be in that position. Magically, they're supposed to be there.
In that position. Not to get off subject, man. We once reigned over. Give me 2 Kings 8 and verse, I think it's 20. I don't got this wrote down, I don't think. I think it's 2 Kings 8 and 20.
First King. 2 King.
I think it's 8 and 20. Look up. If it ain't, I ain't gonna worry about it.
I believe it is. It says in 2 Kings 8:20, it says, "In his days Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah and made a king over themselves."
See, so we was, at a short period of time, we was over the Edomites. Read.
Verse 21, "So Joram went over to Zair and all the chariots with him, and he rose by night and smote the Edomites which compassed him about, and the captains of the chariots, and the people fled into their tents. Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah unto this day. Then Lebanon revolted at the same time.
See, so we was, at a period of time, we was over them, but they revolted and broke loose. All right, so let's not put them up too, we put this nation up way too high, man. Way too high.
Always do.
Not, what about the white? We can't be over the white man. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
You see that? We are above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Get it through your mind, black man and black woman. We are above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
That's right.
If you can't, if that can't sink in, I tell you what, put this video on repeat all night. That little verse, you can just edit it and go to this section right here and listen to that part over and over again all night until it sinks in.
Until it brainwashes you.
Until it brainwashes you. Get your mind back right. Play that back over all night in your head on the video. Let it put it on your script, put it on your 65 inch and let it play back over and over again. Deuteronomy 7 and 6, we are above. What does above mean?
Above.
Yeah, that's a simple word. What does it mean? Let's get the definition of above.
It almost explains
It's
itself.
so simple that it's complicated.
Above.
Well, let's get the definition of above, man. I mean, I think our people just don't understand that. It's one of those words that's so simple that you can't even explain it. It's so simple that our people cannot comprehend it. We cannot be above. We're all equal. We're all one people. That's that brainwash mindset that you have, brother, sister. Get your mind right. Define above.
Yeah, let me put that in there that way.
This is one of those words, man. I mean, I guess we got to give the definition so our people can really understand it.
Above. Preposition. In extended space.
Go to the second.
Okay. Verse number 2. At a higher level or layer than.
So you at a higher level or layer than. Let's get some of the similars.
Okay.
Right there.
Get some more.
Man.
What is this figure? Overhead.
Overhead. That means you're overhead.
High up.
High up. So you're high up above all nations that are upon the face of the earth.
On high.
On high.
Aloft.
Aloft.
That's all we got on them.
But
that's a.
Go ahead.
Where you want me to hit?
What you ready to say?
No, I'm just getting ready to say that. I'll explain it right there.
It should, but I think people need to look at more.
Let's give them some more. Let's go and give them some more. So that's what we try to do is brainwash them back.
Brainwash them back. Let's get them back.
It says a noun, high up, plural noun, high ups.
A senior person in a senior person in an organization. So if you're a senior person, that means you're up above everybody else. You're the senior person. Is that about it on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our people should get that. That's pretty simple. All right. High up. Aloft.
Aloft.
Above.
On high.
On high.
For God's children, man, we got to be on high.
We got to be on high.
Over the rest of the people.
That's right. And we are. Because God just said it, Deuteronomy 7 and 6. And we know that this whole book of Deuteronomy is addressed to the Israelites. We go to Deuteronomy 1 and verse 1 to show you that. Yeah. So we know that this whole book is being addressed to the Israelites. So we know this is specifically addressing the Israelites. He's letting the Israelites know they are above, high above, all nations that are upon the face of the earth.
All praises.
All right, let's go. Let's Exodus 19 and verse 5.
Book of Exodus, chapter 19 and verse 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Verse 6, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation.
Mm-hmm.
These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
See that? We are a peculiar treasure above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
And what better position to be in?
We are above, like you said, a position to be in.
Man, that's the greatest position to be
It
in.
is. You should love and be happy for that thing right there. Matter of fact, go when you play this video back, go to that section where I said Deuteronomy 17, and then go straight to this section. Put both of those on repeat all night long.
That's right. They used to have tapes to do that, didn't
they do.
It was a phenomenon back in the 80s when people were trying to upgrade their learning skills or something, their memory. They would have people take certain tapes and you plug in your earplugs to sleep, so that continuously your brain was picking up that message.
And it's playing in you all through your sleep. When you wake up, before you lay down, it's playing in your head, so you cannot, that information always remains fresh on you, because that's all you hear. It's all being pumped in you. Put it on repeat. Put that thing on repeat, so you can get that through your head.
That's right.
All right, let's go to Isaiah 44 and verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 44, and verse 1.
Because remember, what we're going over here is that it's considered menticide also for you to think that you are really equal to these nations when you are really above. So that right there is a destructive psychological behavior as well.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 44, and verse 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, for my servant, and thou Jeshurun.
All right, so that's all I wanted was verse 1. My fault. Verse 1. Read that one more time.
Verse 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen.
See, so Israel is God's chosen people. His chosen people is the ones that's above all nations, and that is a peculiar people unto him, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So when we go back to 2nd Ezra 6, he says, and after these, 6 and 54, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of whom come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen, those people whom he has chosen are the Israelites.
That's right.
And those Israelites, which is the black, Spanish, Native Indians, are the ones that are chosen and above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
All praises.
All praises for that thing right there. That's great news. That's good news.
Yes.
We should love that gospel right there. That's good news. Let's go to Isaiah 45 and verse 2.
Isaiah 45 and verse 2. I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass and cut. Let's see. I think you might go right.
I'm trying to go to
45 and 4.
that might be it.
Yeah, Isaiah 45 and 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect.
That's what I want. I wrote down the wrong precept. Yeah, that's what I want. Mine elect.
I have
read that one more time, my fault.
Verse 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect.
See, so he said Israel, mine elect. When something is, when he says elect, that means chosen or picked.
That's right.
You chosen out of a group, out of different nations. You have been picked out of different nations. You are the chosen people to God. Are chosen by God. Handpicked. Because that's what elect means. It means picked or chosen. And that's a great point. You have been handpicked by the Most High God Himself. Put that on repeat too, right there. That needs to play. That's got to play all night, right there, because that's good news for our people. And I don't mind sharing it to you, because that is good news. That should give you an uplifting heart. That should make you up. That should uplift our people right there.
That's part of that gospel.
It is.
They don't even know that was good tidings, good news.
Good news.
And it's good news.
Good news. God has chosen you. I know you may think in your mind, oh, I'm an ashy knuckle, black Negro, whatever you want to think of yourself and other people of your nation. But God still has chosen our people. Mm-hmm. We are very unique. We're different. We have a flair that no other nation has. We have a uniqueness that no other nation has. That should be uplifted. We can make it out of a hard place. We can cook, we can sing, we can dance, we can do whatever we put our mind to, we can succeed at it. Exactly. Not every nation can do that.
We add flavor to the mix.
We add flavor to the mix. You know, these other nations are not like that. They can't just up and say, there can't be one of them brothers just up and say, well, I want to be the world's greatest boxer. And he has that flair to do that. And not all of them is picked like that. They can do that out of their nation. Any brother of one nation can up and decide, put his mind to it. He want to be a world-class boxer, whatever. He can do it when he put his mind to it. We got trainers within our nation that can help that brother succeed. Mm-hmm. That's how much flair we got.
I guarantee you, out of the other nations, if you see somebody come up and it's got some peculiar abilities, I bet you they've been a lab experiment. Yeah. Some kind of way their parents probably didn't let them alter their DNA and all.
Shot them with the steroids.
Yeah, steroids and everything. Yeah. Look, this is incredible.
You know, take this pill. Yeah. In 90 days, you will be a world-class boxer.
Think about them women. We teach also about them and their abilities to reproduce. Mm. And the problem that they, I forget where it was, they was talking about this thing, and that's why they came out with them pills and they would give to them women, the Edomite women. They started having quadruplets and sextuplets, and I know twins had to be kind of common because there was Jacob and Esau. Yeah. But when you find a woman having 4 babies at a time and 6 babies at a time, does that seem normal? I mean, that's like a litter. That's like dogs having litters, you know what I'm saying? So, they had to take pills and stuff to do that because it was like, like we know for a fact that the Most High said that they were going to be fewest of all nations, so to speak, and they actually are, compared to all the other nations and even us. So they're trying to expand their population, so to speak, by having chemical alterations and to their women to produce more, babies. Yeah. And I don't think it has much to do with the man's seed. It's the women. Mm. It's the amount of eggs they can put. And all them sperms hit them eggs. I guess how to do the dividing of the cells. And the next thing you know, the woman comes out. Her belly is like humongous, and she's spitting out, 6 babies.
Yeah.
There'd be some funny looking little things too, man.
Oh man. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8 real quick.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 8.
Because as we're going through this topic of what about my oppressors, a lot of our people, we see, like we saying, that this self-destructive psychological behavior, or what they call menticide, thinking that we're equal to these nations and we're actually better, taking on self-destructive behaviors of going against each other, killing each other, things like that, have compassion for these other nations. So our people get this mindset. We had a brother come out on the street, man. We was teaching out there a few weeks ago. And the brother saying, we like, what's your nationality, brother? He's well, I am the original, I forget what the brother said. I'm the original, whatever he said, But he's basically saying we are one nation, one race. There's no different nations of people. We're all just a human race.
He probably said Aborigine.
That's probably what he said. That's probably what he said. I can't get that out. Aboriginal. And, he's saying, yeah, that's what he was saying, Aboriginal. We're all the human race. There's no different races. But let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8, because that's also, if he was an Israelite, is a destructive psychological behavior within that brother right there. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
See, so we do got different nations, and God separated the different nations. So we can't get in this mindset that we all just a human race. We're just all one people. There's different nations out here. God has it set up like that. You can't just trump God and say, well, you know what? I'm smarter than God. We're all just one people.
When it clearly says he separated.
Separated them. Clearly. So I don't know where a lot of our brothers is getting this philosophy or ideology, whatever you want to call it. This is just, it's mind-boggling. I'm like, bro, come on, man.
Goes back to the syndrome.
The syndrome.
What was it you titled it?
That was destructive psychological behavior, which is called menticide.
No, but the title of, I'm sorry.
What about our oppressors?
Yeah, but that syndrome that was created in us, man, that's crazy. I'm old. I can't even remember.
We mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. That syndrome that's something else. We ain't been on 30, 40 minutes. That syndrome that
Stockholm. Okay, yeah, thanks. I couldn't think of that. Yeah, Stockholm. Yeah.
I need some interpretation.
Yeah.
The Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah.
So, that's what happens is they consistently, no matter what, want to draw in the fact that, no, I don't want to be above,
Yeah.
I want to be just equal to.
Yeah.
I think what happens is when people see that or hear that in their mind, somewhere deep down inside of them, they know it's more responsibility coming with that.
That's it.
Our people got a sneaky way of getting out of responsibility because they know if I accept this thing, I'm above. God's he does. Then he requires something of us.
Let's go there real quick because that's a heavy point right there. Because if you're above, you do have to conduct yourself in a different way than everybody else conducts themselves. Because there's a separation there. You can't do the same things that they do. You are above them. Go ahead.
I know you did.
We have to say something real quick on that. That was heavy. Because our people is scared to take the lead. That's why they don't want the people to be under us. Because they're scared to take the lead. Because we look at ourselves as failures. So that's the psychological That's the systematic that they are set up. That's heavy.
Yep.
That's heavy.
When we get to it also. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 12, book of Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, to serve him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good.
See that? So God requires something from us. You know, there's a responsibility behind being the chosen people. You got to fear God. You got to keep his commandments. You can't be, you can't have that mental block that keeps you from succeeding in God's commandments. You can't have that lazy, slothful mentality. You got to gird up like a man, and you got to handle God's business. And that's right, man, because our people don't want to pick up that responsibility because it's something that requires more of them than what they want to put out, per se. Let's go to Genesis 12 and verse 3. What about the white man?
The book of Genesis, chapter 12 and verse 3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
So see, he said, I will curse, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Give me Obadiah 1 in verse 15.
Book of Obadiah, verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head.
See that? So it says in Obadiah, verse 15, it says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. All you heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
That's right.
It sounds like some payback.
Big time.
It sounds like some payback is coming.
The big payback.
The big payback. See, you want to know what's going to happen to the old person? You want to know what's happening to the white man? We're bringing it forth right now. Read it one more time, man. That sounds like
the book of Obadiah, verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen.
All the heathen.
As thou hast done.
All your oppressors. Read.
As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
See, our people don't forget about all that was done unto us. The hangings, our people walking down the street getting blasted with high pressure water hose and billy club, getting beat down by the police with their billy club. I don't know if you ever got hit with a billy club. Them damn things is hard. Man, it will break your leg. If he hit you hard enough with that billy club, man, it will break your leg.
Yep.
Beat down to the ground. Look at, what was it, Rodney King got beat down like that?
Beat down like it's something fierce.
Something fierce. This is real, man. All these things, our people, all that brainwashing, that systematic brainwashing, all this has left out of the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden you got sympathy. Yeah, well, they didn't do nothing to me. They didn't. You need to sit down and think. You need to wake up out of that delusion that you're in.
That's right. Because if it happened to one of your brothers, it did happen.
It did happen to you. That's exactly what I'm going to say.
They can't see that thing.
And if it ain't necessarily happened to you, particularly at this time, it will. In some form, it will happen to you. It ain't gonna just skip you. In some form, it will happen to you. Whether it's some another nation at work that's trying to slip that N-word by you, call you N-word, trying to slip it in by you, thinking that y'all real cool, and they call you that N-word, and you thinking that it's all out of fun. They really talking crazy to you, derogatory to you, trying you.
He got his chance to say.
He got his chance. There you go. There you go.
Call you that.
Yeah.
He go home and tell his buddy.
Yeah, I call him a Negro at work, man. He ain't do nothing.
No, it wasn't Negro.
With the ND on, you know.
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure you felt that.
Mm-hmm.
It's in some form, it's going to happen to you. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to overlook it and say, well, what about my oppressor? Can he get saved?
Won't hug him.
I just want to hug you. I forgive you. Give me a hug. Come on, man. We got to wake up out of that, man. It's high time to wake up out of sleep.
That's right.
You thinking it's all hugs and kisses. This ain't no dang hugs and kisses. Man, it's let me tell you, these nations like Esau, that nation of Edom, man, he lives by the sword and dies by the sword. Everything is war for him. And I don't know if you ever heard it or not, but they got war tactics. Where you don't even think it's war, they really got war in their heart the whole time. And really they coming up to you and they'll wiggle their way in, and then when they get an opportunity, boom. They done bit you, they done attacked you, they done got you. See, our people ain't thinking, man. Our people's not thinking. Read that one more time in Obadiah 1:15.
Book of Obadiah, verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
See, it says it shall return upon thine own head. Let's go to Revelation 13 and verse 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Read.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
See, that says he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So just as we read in Obadiah, that payback's coming. We read it right here in Revelations. That payback is coming. So our people need to worry about themselves and their own nation. Too caught up in everything else. These people will be punished. There's nothing you can do about it. Ain't no soft speech, ain't no emotional tone, talk, or whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. Gonna stop this thing from happening.
That's right.
You can be sentimental toward these people all you want to. All these different nations that are oppressors. You can be sentimental. It's not going to stop God's work. They're going to have to pay for what they did to our nation.
Mm-hmm. They think this thing's a fairy tale.
They do. Well, surely God will. Yes, he will. Yes, he don't you get to thinking like that. He's serious. And he means business, and payback is coming. Was that it on that?
No. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
See that? So he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Look at all those weapons they used against us. Read.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
See, that's what we waiting on. We waiting on that. We know that payback is coming. We just patiently waiting. And as we patiently waiting, we keeping the commandments of God.
That's right.
Because we believe what the Bible says. We know it's coming because the Bible says it's coming. It says that their reward will come upon their own head. It says that he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword.
Must be killed.
Must be killed. Must be killed. That's right.
Must be killed. See, that's like I was making a point one time. It's like I can remember my mother and father, either one of them, and I getting out of order, and they would let me know I keep on messing up. You know, they go get off into my behind, and they would say, "That's not a promise. That's a fact."
That's right. Letting you know that when you mess up, if you keep doing that, it will happen. We will do that.
So this verse 10 right here is not a promise. It's a fact.
It's a fact. It's letting you know that it is and will happen. There's not no hug that you can do to reverse this. There ain't no sentimental, emotional mindset, process, content, whatever you want to say, is going to stop this thing from happening. You can't. Our people can't wiggle around this right here. That's what they think. Well, you know. That's why we tell you come out of that brainwashed state of mind that you're in, because it ain't happening the way you think it's gonna happen. You can't hug these people, these other nations, into the kingdom and to reign with you.
Yeah, can I
Go ahead.
To go along with that, you know, we talking about you know, the way the Most High is talking, you know, here it says, he that leadeth in captivity shall go, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed. Mm-hmm. And the thing people forget, and I love this, Isaiah 55:11. He says, it reads, so shall my words be that goeth forth out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. So Most High is telling you right then and there, so shall my words be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void. This is going to explain it. But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent it. Mm-hmm. So people got an idea of this thing, man. Like I said, they think this thing's a fairy tale. Yeah. Most High just ain't spitting out words in this Bible, just be, you know, taking up space in the pages. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Interesting things to read. Yeah. I had explained to a guy today, earlier we was talking about something, and he, you know, I'm always running up against somebody that's going to contend with me a little bit. I asked him simply, I said, bro, what happened in the book of creation, in Genesis? I said, what was the major thing that happened that we lost? He was, you know, couldn't think of where I was going with it. I said, remember when Eve sinned and Adam sinned? Well, I said, what came of that? Death. Mm-hmm. Was God playing? No. Because ain't people still dying today? Yep. So that word he said way back then, it still stands today because we still die. That's right. So why don't you think everything else he's saying ain't going to come to pass or be manifested? It's going to happen. That's all I had.
You know why? Because there are people still want to remain to be brainwashed. They love that state of mind that they're in. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, they love that state of mind that they're in. Because there's not that stems from that. We're going to continue, and we're going to see why that is so. Let's go to Joel 3 and let's go to 4 and 5.
Sure will.
Right before Amos.
Book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 5.
We'll go to we'll read 4 and 5.
The book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 4. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly and pleasant things.
See that? So I was bringing that out to show you that Tyre and Zidon, those are Africans, and the Palestinians is the Arabs. Okay, so this is what I'm telling you. Our people is what about the oppressors? See, these people also has you in captivity, sold you. Has you in captivity, sold you. And when it says he took his, and then what is that last part about the temple? Taking the silver and gold.
And he says, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly and pleasant things.
And even robbed our temples. So how does the slave sold us and robbed our temples? See, so our people it's time for our people to wake up, man. All this, so much compassion and all that. You know, our people has to wake up. We have to develop, we have to get out of this brainwashed state of mind that we are in. Let's go to Isaiah 14 and verse 2.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
See that? So, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. Possess them.
Mm-hmm.
They will be our possession.
Property.
No, not us. Not the Negro.
No, he don't want to own nothing. Yeah, he want to own his tennis shoes, man. He just want to be property. Only property he want is tennis shoes.
And a couple articles of clothing.
Yeah, he's Jake satisfied.
We good, man. Come on, man. Read it one more time, man.
That's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, for servants and handmaids.
See that? So it says we shall possess them for servants and handmaids. Read.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Read.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
See, so if you don't want that, if that ain't for you, if you want to, what about the white man? What about the Africans? What about the Arabs? If that's your mindset when God says we're going to possess them for servants and handmaids, and we're going to rule over them, if you don't, go ahead.
I can't wait on the day I can just kick back and let somebody bring me breakfast. Get my clothes together.
If you don't want that, if you rather sit around and be sentimental and hug each other, well, go sit in the corner somewhere, suck your thumb, and gather your buddies up from the other nation. Y'all sit around and y'all just wait.
You know, it amazes me because we can watch the news, and we can watch, like, when they bring the news to us from overseas, from like England and Britain, and you see, I don't know them people over there, but I'm just pop out some names like
Yeah.
Prince Henry
Yeah.
and Princess Diana and all them folks over there. And you see stuff on the news, man, and you see how those people are being treated.
Yep.
You know, they got soldiers all around them. They got people, you know, like you could tell they're being cared for hand and foot.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me them same people you talking about think that them people are the people that are worthy of that thing? Think about this is what I'm saying. These people we see on TV, are they really worthy of that lifestyle? Now we know they've raped, robbed, pillaged, they've stolen, they've taken everything, they've committed all kind of atrocities, and you mean they're deserving of that lifestyle? And they have yet this day have paid, have been punished for anything that they've done to gain the wealth and the riches that they have. They the ones that took, you just read it.
Yeah.
You just read it with talking about Tyrese, Zidon, and Palestinians.
Yeah.
How they went and took Most High silver and gold,
Robbed the temples.
robbed the temples. Those people, me and Elder was talking about, I think we was talking about the other day, we read something about them, I think it was last night on Clubhouse, where they would strip, say, a vineyard. They would strip it down. They would glean everything off the vine.
Yeah, leave nothing.
They leave nothing. So these people are the same people that people admire and watch on TV. Old, ugly folks. They call them royalty, man.
Yeah.
You know, like they're deserving of that. But we're not.
Exactly. Let's drop down to verse 12.
Verse 12. Back to Isaiah 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer,
So we know Lucifer talking about the light bearer. Read.
son of the morning?
Mm-hmm.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
So let's let you know right there that America will fall. This nation, America will fall. America is going to fall. You know, so our people, that's why we're telling our people, get out of that mindset, that brainwashed mindset, that sentimental mindset, because this place is going down.
You said something, not to cut you off, but we're going to stay right here. You said something, when I read it, says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And you spoke the fact that's been the light bearer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that any possibility of being in representation of what's up in New York?
Statue of
That Statue of
Yeah, there
Liberty.
you go. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. They'll read this and they can't see that thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I wanted to kind of repeat that real quick.
And that's absolutely right. And it says, which did weaken the nations. It weakened the nations through their policies, their religions. You know, just like what else? The brainwashing, the systematically things that they bring forth, which go into their policies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that just brings forth the light right there. That should show you. But you know, our people just want to remain asleep. But hey, listen, brothers and sisters, it's time to wake up. You know, it's time to put the good music on repeat. It's time to put this on repeat. It's time to wake out of sleep. We can't remain where we at right now. We gotta elevate. Everybody wants to talk about elevation. let's go higher. What we need to we should be elevated.
Yeah. I listen to our city government on the news, you know. So I sit and watch 6 o'clock news sometime, and I hear them saying spills. I'm like, to what? To what? You know what they're repeating?
Yeah.
It's what we read in, I believe it was Obadiah. You know, we was talking about the Edom, talking about we were rebuild, we would come back stronger. They actually brainwashed our people to get on the bandwagon with them. Yeah. They say our city, our America, our. Bro, don't you remember history? When they stripped you of everything, they didn't include you in nothing. What we call it now? The not inclusion, but it's that they make you think you're included.
Yeah.
It's a term for that. Oh shoot! I hate when I lose but it's a term for when they make you feel like you're included, and you're really not.
You're really not.
Deceit. That's
a deceit. That's just plain and simple. Simple as that. It's deceit.
Yeah, that's just
to make you feel like you're included, but you know. We just gonna make them feel that way, you know. Hey Bob, you know, because going back to Psalms, that crafty counsel. Man, that's deep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I could just wring people's neck and make them sit right there and just listen. Just listen. Maybe you learn something. You know. Might hit a note. Ding. Maybe the light bulb go off or something. You know.
But that's absolutely right, though. Let's go to 2 Ezra 9:13 real quick. I believe I want that. Let's go to the 2 Ezra 9:13.
The book of 2 Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 9 and verse 13. And therefore, be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created.
See, I brought that forth because our people, like I mentioned earlier, we worried about the wrong things. We so caught up in ungodliness and worried about how the ungodly shall be, what the oppressor, what about the oppressor? Stop worrying about how somebody who's wicked and ungodly is going to be punished and when they're going to get their punishment. And worry about your brothers and sisters who's out here trying to do the right thing by God and his people. Everybody's talking about, well, what about them? What about the oppressor? What about that person? And what about my brother? What about this and that? Get yourself together and worry about yourself and worry about the brothers and sisters that's doing the right thing. Stop trying to put all your focus and your energy and your time into something that ain't for you to put your energy, time, and focus in. You know, our people already got a problem with multitasking. You know you can't keep up with the ungodly and yourself and the righteous people. We can't do that, man. We go nuts, man. Stop worrying about the ungodly and start worrying about the righteous. You know, that's why I brought that forth, because a lot of our people, we have that mindset that we need to focus on what about the ungodly? But how they're going to get punished then? No, what are you worried about all that for? Mm-hmm. Get yourself together. See, that made me think that you thinking about being wicked.
That's right.
Well, if they ain't going to get that harsh of a punishment, I guess I might as well just continue to do me. You don't want to know how the wicked's going to get punished. And you don't want to... Don't even worry about when. I'm just telling you, when it's come, it's going to be a harsh thing. That's right. something that you don't even want to imagine. So don't stay out of that lane right there. Just stay out of it. Get yourself together. Worry about the brothers and sisters who is dedicating their life and their time to serve God and do the right thing. That's what you need to be focused on. All right? So that just brought that forth to show our people, man, get your mind right. Get your mind focused. Get your mind out of the gutter. Stop worrying about how your oppressor is going to get saved. Stop worrying about how your best friend is going to get saved and all this stuff, things like that. Get yourself together, brother, sister. Stay focused. See, that's how you get unfocused, by worrying about unnecessary things.
Mm-hmm.
Stay focused. Stay on the course. Stay on the path. Keep your mind straight. Give me Isaiah 49 verse 11 real quick.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 49, and verse 11. Isaiah 49 and 11.
Yeah.
And I will make. One, two. Isaiah 49, 11.
That probably don't want to see. What was I trying to go with that? Let me see. What do you want to say? Let's see here.
When the Psalms were now.
It might have been song. I might have wrote Isaiah down there because that thing songs when it goes into the, yeah, that's what I want. Man, I don't know. Sometimes I write.
You know, like me.
That's why you gotta have good brothers around you, man. You know, you got
Psalms 49, verse 11. Their inward thought is,
there we go,
that their houses shall continue forever,
yep,
and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
See, so it says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. See, so all this brainwashing, all this systematic brainwashing, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, keeping them separated and deranged and all that by design, it's because they feel like they're going to be reigning forever. They're doing that because they want to rule forever. They want to rule on top of you forever.
So think about it. The brainwashing that we're speaking of works two ways.
Mm-hmm.
It works in order to keep us down, but to raise them up, because they're brainwashing themselves to think that their houses are continued forever. Remember that repeating in the mind? I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the best. I'm on top. And they repeat that over and over till it comes to the point where they believe in what they thinking. So they do the opposite to us. Keep pressing that negativity, we'll start believing the negativity.
That's it. So that's their mindset. So don't ever get it twisted. You know, they have in their mindset that they will be ruling forever. You sitting here trying to get your little crumbs or whatever, or try to be equal. They're not thinking that way. They're thinking on a whole nother level than what you thinking.
So,
Whole nother level.
Our brothers thinking about making $500, and they thinking about how to make $500 million.
Billion.
Yeah, billion now.
Yeah, they trying to get they trying to rule and reign forever. And they're not thinking about sharing nothing with you. They give you little crumbs here and there, but they want to rule and reign forever. That's their inward thought.
Mm-hmm.
That is a thought process that they have. So when you're thinking about what about them, they're not thinking about what about the Negro, what about him. You think what about them? They're not thinking about what about them. They not forget the little ashy knuckle.
Somebody say something. What about the black guy, huh?
What? What about a throw a little crumbs? Give a little crumbs. That's satisfying. Give a little car, a little house, or whatever. You know.
We'll upgrade the bologna or something. You know.
Yeah. We'll take a little bit of the bones out of the bologna next time.
Yeah, put a little hot sauce in it.
Yeah. They're not thinking about giving your ass behind no kind of reign rule with them. But that's part of that brainwash that we are experiencing, because we thinking that, well, what about them? What about, will they be able to rule with us?
Mm-hmm. I heard some brothers having a conversation on a class, and they was talking about the same thing. In a sense, they were saying that the black man, we may sit and ponder on things, and we think of things, say, they were just giving an example, say 15 minutes from now. Mm-hmm. You know how you think forward, think ahead? Yeah. And they was just making an analogy. It was like, well, black people, we think 15 minutes from now, when Edomites, Esau, he thinks 15 years from now. Yeah. See, he's thinking way out ahead of us. And
you see, that's right, because they're thinking on a larger scale. Our people's thinking on a low scale. And we need to be thinking on a large scale. We gotta everybody gonna talk about elevating. This is the type of elevation that we need to have in our mindsets, is getting back to our rightful place. Not how that we can make $400 or $500 and here and there and whatever, a million or whatever. These people are thinking about lasting forever, reigning, ruling forever. All right, so we got to get our minds right. All right, I think we have, man, on the clubhouse, you have brought up a good point, man. Other night, what was that? Psalms 55 and 20.
When I just
about the hand being put forth against us.
Oh yeah, yes. Was that 55? And yes, 55. You can start at 19 on down to 21.
Okay.
Anywhere you want to. Let me see. It's probably 20 and 21. Yeah, 20 and 21.
Yeah.
Want me to read that?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the book of Psalm 55 and 20.
Yeah.
He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant.
So I think he was bringing forth something about he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. Meaning he's not going to let you get in close. He's going to always be at variance and odds with you. And he's broken his covenant. I mean, he's not going to keep nothing, no peace promises or nothing that he's going to speak to you. He's always going to be against you. Mm-hmm. But our people have this sentimental mindset that, well, he loves me. He's at peace with me. He's not at peace with you. He can give a hell.
Because it says he had put forth his hands against.
Yep.
If I put my hands up against something, that right then and there tells you that I ain't in peace with you. You're going to want to wring your neck or do something. Yeah. So hey, that's a negative connotation right there. Yeah. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. So even like when it goes back to our brothers and Gad, the Northern Kingdom, when they got over here, when them conquistadors and everything came over here, and they made covenants, they made deals, mm-hmm. and so what they did was they deceived them brothers. Yep. They put forth their hands against. Mm-hmm. And that's why when it goes into he has broken his covenants. So if you want me to read on, in verse 12 it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
We are all one people. let's be at peace with one another. Let's have a peace campaign, a peace rally. Come on, brother. What's all the war about? Let's be at peace with one another. We're all one people. We all bleed the same. We all put our pants on the same, brother. I don't hate you.
It is still said today.
It's still said today.
But war was in his heart.
See, but in his mindset, it's war the whole time. It ain't no peace with him. It ain't no peace treaty. It ain't no peace campaign. Ain't no peace rally. Ain't no we the same people. We bleed the same blood. Ain't none of that. It's Negro, I'm on top of you and I'm going to stay on top of you. And if you think you're going to get close to being equal to me, I'm going to try to break you down. That's what's in his mindset. Read.
Getting that feedback there. It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
Words softer than oil. You know, oil is smooth, it's soft. It has a real soft consistency. It can slither through the smallest of cracks. So, you know, that little leeway, that's all he needs.
So we call it slick talk.
Slick talk, yeah. That's slick talk. Real slick, real smooth, can fit through the smallest of cracks and get his way through. And then it's war. Our people better wake up, man. That's all I'm saying is our people better wake up. They need to get support.
Let me ask something. Read that again. The last one, 21.
Psalm 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Why is his word smoother than butter? Because his words is real kind. If you ever the police come out the car, he'll say, "Can I have your license and registration?" Right?
Yep.
But really, in his heart, he said, "I hope he don't give it to me."
Yep.
Because I want to put some hot ones in you. Watch this. Read it again. Watch it.
He said the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Come on.
His words were softer than oil,
There you go.
yet were they drawn swords.
That's what I'm talking about. Giving pretty hot iron in you. But what I wanted this for is to show you that this is heavy. Because what they do is, if you do not agree with American policies, there's no peace for you. If you do not agree with their ways, with their policies, with their Christmases, birthdays, then they're against you. So their words is only smoother than butter or softer than oil until you disagree with them. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's a strong point right there. Yeah.
That's absolutely right there. Until you disagree. Now you're a problem. Now you're a threat. You know, what do you mean you don't celebrate Christmas? What is wrong with you? See, now you get into some wartime. That's absolutely right. You know, the police, they walking up on you. A lot of these officers, they hoping that you buck.
Yeah.
Basically said, yeah, buck.
Just show some type of
rebellion
or something. Just a little bit.
Just a little
And
bit.
then they know how to egg it on.
Yeah. That's all you have to do is show a little bit of feed, just a little bit. And they know how to take it from there. And they waiting on you to because they want to, like you said, like El was saying, they want to put that hot lead in your behind. They want to do it. Some of them get off doing that thing right there.
Don't we know it?
Yeah.
It goes way back thousands of years. You know, that taste for blood is in their mouth. You know what it said, but way back in Genesis, it said Esau was a cunning hunter, so that's still in them.
That's still in them.
You know,
And taste for blood.
Yeah, they got to kill something.
They got to kill something. That's it. All right. So to love another nation, even Edomites, and to hate yourself in your own nation, that is known as the Stockholm Syndrome. I'm going to say it again. To love another nation, even Edomites, and to hate yourself in your own nation, that is what is known as the Stockholm Syndrome. Hate yourself. Hate yourself. We hear things like that. We don't even think about what that actually means. Because if you hate yourself, and what they say, retrospect or whatever word, I ain't gonna use no uncomfortable word, but when you hate yourself, that goes to you hating your nation.
You hate the man that look like you.
You hate the man that looks like you.
I think I was at work. I'm thinking, somebody brought up a whole segment of an old movie.
Yeah.
Had Bernie Mac in it. Bernie Mac was a cop.
Mm.
And it was one of the Wayne brothers or something. They got an altercation. Bernie Mac put the gun up on his chin.
Oh, yeah.
Was telling them, I hate black.
Yeah.
It's boys in the hood.
Was that Bernie?
It was a comedy, though.
Yeah, that was another. That's another.
Yeah, I hate black. He was like, I hate Whoopi Goldberg's lips because they black. I hate.
Yeah, I remember that
Doing
one.
the skit.
He's
from Comes.
Was that what it was
From the movie
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood.
Okay. Yeah. I hate the back and forth Whitaker's neck and all that, man. But he was making it funny.
Yeah.
But I was like, what do you think if somebody was on the serious side of that? A black person hate, and here he was. Yeah, he said, I hate Wesley Snipes because he's black, you know. But Bernie Mac was a dark-skinned brother.
Yeah.
But he was hating this black thing. So, I mean, that's making light of what we're talking about. But, you know, when you look at it from on a serious note, man, that's something else there.
And that's real. Because that's what I'm getting ready to try to go into a little bit is for our people to hear this thing and to try to come out of that mindset, to break that cycle in their mind, that hatred that you have for yourself. All right. So we're going to go over some things, you know, that kind of show signs that you may hate yourself. And these are things that you need to work on and improve with the words of God. All right. So just like we was bringing out, you know, trying to hide things about yourself that represent black, like your physical features, your appearance, you know, to try to fit a more white standard. Mm-hmm. You know, like you got gorilla brothers talking about, man, my nose is big, man, I gotta go get my nose done. What? Bro, you a gorilla, you a lion, you a burly brother, and you talking about getting your nose trimmed down. What the hell is this, man? Brothers trying to go under the knife and trying to get their nose taken down. You got a big nose as a black person, so what? You get Michael Jackson, all type of brothers, man. You should be happy for your big nose. You should be able to smell BS from a mile away, man. You should love your big nose.
That's right.
Because you got to realize in certain things, you need certain features to help you to survive. It's just like fish, right? You got fish that as deeper down you go into the ocean, the uglier they get. You got ones that got them bugged out eyes. Why? Because it's so dark, the deeper you go, they need those big eyes so they can be able to see. Mm-hmm. You got to fall in love with who you are. You got to fall in love with you, that the fact that you are an Israelite, you are God's chosen. God sets the standard of beauty, not man. So we know for woman or man, they keep God's commandments. That's beautiful. We got to get our self-esteem, our self-assurance back within the nation of Israel. You got a big nose, so what? You got big lips. That's our people right there. We got those features. But I'm gonna tell you what. Listen, look on TV and you'll see all them little Edomite girls trying to puff up their lips.
Oh yeah.
Putting all the fill in their lips, puffing up their behinds and all that.
Yeah.
Trying to make their face look fuller. Why is that? Why are you trying to look like what they look like?
Mm-hmm.
They trying to look like what you look like.
Exactly.
Because you the standard of beauty. Not the other way around.
Right. Thank you. I'll praise it.
Give me that real quick, Jeremiah 10 and verse 1. Because I remember we was talking on the clubhouse also last night. Was it last night? Yeah, last night. And you had brought forth a statement that, you know, this little young black girl, right? And she had the blonde wig on.
Mm-hmm.
The mother put the blonde wig on, so the black girl's in the mirror, she's pressing around or whatever, she's making herself feel like she's beautiful. Then when the mom took that wig off, she went berserk.
Little girl went crazy, man.
See, that right there, that little sister has been brainwashed. She has been made to think that the standard of beauty is having a wig with blonde hair. A blonde-haired wig. Let's go to Jeremiah 10 verse 1.
Excuse me. Jeremiah 10 and verse 1.
And let's not forget, though, for the sisters, too, because I was talking about the brothers trying to get their nose small like Michael Jackson. But let's look at the sisters, too, as well. They'll go under that knife and the quickness. Let's look at, like, for an example, Lil' Kim, right? Lil' Kim was tough before she got all that plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Had every brother wanted to be Biggie Smalls in the 90s. She was tough. She rapped. She was, she had put off that image like she was street, so all the brothers. And she was a beautiful looking little young lady. Then she went underneath that knife, man, and tore her whole face up, man.
Right.
Trying to make her know that self-hatred is real, man. It will have you doing some things to yourself and will mess your whole thing up, man.
Yeah. Girl, don't even look real. No
don't even look real. I mean, the nose is super small, face is kind of, I don't know.
It's all out of proportion, messed up.
She's still a sister, man. I hope she repent, but I mean, dang, man. I mean, she should not have, we're going underneath that knife, man. I mean, Esau will make you believe and think that, this is what beauty's supposed to look like. You're supposed to have this small nose, these small lips, real super defined face. Yeah, I got a little round face. I don't care. I got a round face right now. I'm not going to go underneath no knife.
I was just trying to explain to a brother about the differences, and I was telling him without going too deep that they were the ones that were defective.
Yeah.
They had the defect, not us. Because simply, if you go back to Genesis, we were created in God's image.
There you go.
We were created in Christ, God, the angel's image. So how much more perfect can you get than that?
Right.
The Edomites were the ones with the genetic defect.
Yeah.
Our people think the green eyes and the blue eyes, that's the straight hair, the blonde hair. I was telling the brother, I said, man, and the Bible tells us that that's a plague.
Yeah.
That's a leprosy. Come on now.
Yeah.
Dude's defective.
Yeah. And even our brothers, and even though we talk about Esau right now, even our brothers going into wanting to look like the Africans with smooth faces. The Africans, they shaved off all their face. Their whole face was smooth. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them was bald-headed as well. They cut off all their hair. Our brothers envy that thing right there. Because God, we know that through these scriptures, we know through the commandments, our brothers supposed to have beards. We don't take no razors to our face and we can line it up, keep our natural line and stuff like that. We can't dig into our beards and destroy our facial hair and our facial line. And not even going bald-headed. We can't take that razor and spin it around our head and go bald-headed.
Mm-hmm. Making
yourself bald. Unless your forehead bald, that's just something different. But just making yourself bald-head, that right there is a sin. You are breaking God's commandments. But our brothers and sisters envy the oppressor. You know, they envied that thing right there. Well, we got to emulate that. That's a standard of beauty. Now, we are the standard of beauty. Give me Jeremiah 10 and verse 1.
Jeremiah 10, verse 1. Hear ye the words which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
She says, hear the word of the Lord, which the Lord has spoken unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. Learn not the way of the heathen. Read.
He says, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
You don't got to go that deep. Let's go to Proverbs 3 and verse 31. See, our people, they learn the ways of the heathens. How they learn the way of the heathen? Blinding their, taking their hair. Our sisters, even the brothers, are doing it now. Taking their hair, putting all that dye and bleach in their hair and all that, destroying their hair, just killing their hair out, man. All that different colors, what you were saying?
We was before we even read Jeremiah. I can remember back when I was young, man, and but we made mention of the balding of the head in the Africans and such and such. Well, you know how Edomites, they always try to play parts of us in movies.
Yeah.
And I can remember the old movies dealing with like when we was in Egypt, and they had this dude back in the days. His name was Yul Brenner. He was an Edomite, but he always played Pharaoh. And they would bald the head, and they put that little black ponytail thing on him. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of had a little build on him, you know, from back in the day. But I can always remember, man, it was always peculiar to hear the say like grown-ups, so like back then, my mama's age and them, and they, you know, I'm black.
Yeah.
But hear black people say, he's so handsome. We was talking about that thing of beauty, the standard of beauty, and it used to irk me, man, to hear, say even my mama, I can remember even when I got married, my mother-in-law, I forget what movies and shows was out back then during that time, but I can remember hearing some of the black women, you know, talk about some of the white men movie stars. Oh, he's so handsome. You know, I was like, damn. You can't even find somebody of our own. Back then, I didn't know nothing like I know now. You know, so the verbiage that I might use now, I wasn't using the same verbiage then. But in my mind, I'm thinking, man, you can't even find. You don't think we ain't got no black man that's handsome? You know, everybody think these white men is handsome. You know, it was weird to me.
Well, you don't see it. That's a lust thing, man. And then seeing them on the big screen, they thinking that, okay, well, he's up here and he's buff and he's this and that. That must be the standard of what is considered beautiful, you know, good to look upon. Power.
Yeah. Like Burt Reynolds and stuff like that, you know. And it's like, man, you know, the Marlboro Man, you know. I don't even know his name, but.
Let me say something. You know, it's powerful that you said that, because those same women that you talk about, like our mothers, they was dealing with racism on a way, way higher scale than we seen in our life.
Yeah.
How do you like the same people that you knew that was hanging and killing your people? That's where the officers bring it out of every class. That's Stockholm. That systematic. All that is embedded in you. See, like us. Like us. I said, that's heavy.
Man, that's deep.
That's heavy, man.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Proverbs 3:31, we're going to read it. Envy thou not the oppressor.
See, so we're not supposed to be envious towards our oppressors. Read.
And choose none of his ways.
She says, and choose none of his ways. You know, we go throughout this whole Bible, we wasn't seeing our sisters go underneath that knife like that. Getting all this, getting your nose smaller, getting your lips smaller, getting shots in your breast and your butt. getting that what they call it, BBL. They got so much stuff
got
going on,
names
man.
for
Oh,
it
man,
now.
you get your stomach and waistline this looking like this, and get that part looking like that, and all this.
Yeah, false hips.
False hips.
False butts. And
Yeah.
False.
Everything's fake.
Man, false.
False. I mean,
Wow.
it make you think like that. You got the pleasure.
They got
points.
Yeah, they go to the Christian church under the banner of Christianity. They got false doctrines.
False doctrines.
Then you got women going to the churches. They believe in the false doctrines. They got false butts, false lips, those eyes. Well, where they put the contacts, that started way back some years ago. They get the
contact,
they wanted the hazily eyes,
blue eyes, and all that. Gray and all that stuff.
On a black person.
Yeah.
Here's a girl. Black is beautiful, as we say. That's in the Bible. King Solomon even said the same thing. But it don't match up.
Yeah.
When you see somebody that's got a nice dark complexion and they got these blue eyes, I'm like, wow.
And it's my body because the brothers was taking hold of that thing too, man. You see a brother with some blue contacts in, man.
And look, and the hair. There's a young lady that, that works in security up there where I work at, man. I'll be watching on camera. And you know how the white women would do, they I don't want to throw my speak off, they do their hair like this. Just flipping with her. And I'm looking at sisters doing this. Sisters didn't have to do all that, especially when we had froze. Hair stayed in one place. They didn't do all that shit. And then this little girl, man, she can't stand still. I'm watching her. I'm on camera, man. She's forever shaking her head. I was like, she must be that little girl that we seen, that I was explaining about the other night on Clubhouse. Because that's what, and she had to come to work 2 weeks ago. She had a regular hair. Prior to that, it was some plaits or something. But she went back to her regular hair. Now, just a few days ago, now she's got, her hair is kind of black or brown, come to so far. Then it's look like these potato chips. Just said
all over the place.
Blonde, like I don't know what.
That's it.
And she's a dark brown skinned girl. But I'm like, man, that don't look right.
And that right there is, as we bring it forth, is signs of self-hate. So if you hate that about yourself, you're going to hate that about your nation. See, all that goes forth. You got that self-hate on that aspect right there, then you got that self-hate towards your own people too. Oh, look at that. Big no. See, you get that. See, now you forming that hate that you have for yourself onto your people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's important for our people to repent. Clear up their mindset, get back to God, get back to these commandments so they get their mind back right. Because our people right now, their mind is off. All right? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 3. Let's go to 6 and 19 first, and then 3 and 17.
1 Corinthians chapter 6 and 19.
Yeah, let's try it.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 19. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not of your own, and ye are not your own.
Is that 19?
19.
All right. So your body is the temple of God. Let's go to 3 and 17. 1 Corinthians.
1 Corinthians 3 and 17. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are.
So you probably wondering, well, what does that got to do with self-hate? Because if you destroying your temple, you are showing that you hate yourself. Now, how you destroy your temple? Let's think of some things. Smoking cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Not only smoking cigarettes, over drinking.
Drinking.
Not only over drinking, eating pork. Overeating. All those things, because that goes off into depression and all type of things. I mean, that shows self-hatred. overeating, smoking, over drinking, filling your body up with all these
different
drugs.
Ripping and running the street without proper rest.
Without proper rest.
You know,
I mean, you just treating your temple like it ain't nothing. Read that one more time in 3 and 17. I don't think they understood that last part.
the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 17. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
See that? So when you defile your temple, you treat your temple any kind of way, God will destroy you. That is a destructive mindset. That is a that thing is destructive. That's a destructive action. That goes off into also what we've been going over this whole time. That psychological, destructive, that menticide.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is other people going to waste you away, but you'll kill your own self. Gluttony, overeating, over drinking, smoking, over eating all these unclean foods, not filtering what you put in your body. We can't. We gotta stay away from pork as much as we can. So we gotta check and make sure ain't nothing containing no pork enzymes, or whatever if we can, or no containing no pork.
And we can even defile it. That's going into everything is physical when it goes to the body. But when I said something about ripping and running the streets or whatnot, but even the fornication, is defiling your body.
It's defiling your body
because there's various forms of fornication.
Yeah.
So you're just doing something against your body.
So just like that fornication, you also come with that fornication and defiling your temple with fornication. You're looking at STDs, STIs, which is sexual transmitted infections, diseases, AIDS.
So now you got them germs.
Now you got the germs in your body. And we have been given a dietary law. And within that dietary law, we know that we're supposed to eat in moderation, and we got clean and unclean foods.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put something, if God has given you a dietary law, He's telling you what is good for the body and what's not good for the body. So if you're eating catfish or pork or crabs, they go against the genetic makeup of your body. So that causes a reaction. Those reactions are a lot of times we see as diseases. We got to thank God that we woke up when we did, because, once we took hold of these laws, we don't know what could have came about if we would have continued on with the lifestyle we was living. We may have just been able to stop right at the right time. We could get things under control. Mm-hmm. And that's what the intention was. So we can get things under control. We have time to get things under control, get our lives back in order. We have a lot of brothers and sisters right now that's dying. You got brothers that's 30, 40 years old dying of heart attacks right now. And that's young. That is a very young age to die.
I had a friend of mine, it's crazy you said that. A friend of mine back in the, I know this guy, man, for many a year, and he was maybe a year or two older than I am, if he was still living. But he passed away in the 90s, I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. I happen to be, he passed away in the 90s. And very athletic kind of guy.
Yeah.
But even with the fact that when I talked to him, he passed away and I didn't know it. I happened to call him one time. Time went by, I said, man, I'm giving Mike a call. And when I called him, his mom answered the phone and she says, oh, baby, Michael passed away. And I was like, do what? And I know it's been a couple of years since I've seen it. So she went on to give me a spiel, telling me what had happened over the course of, going back a couple of years. And she said he had a stroke. And on the advent of him having his stroke, he went down because of his mental depression and stuff like that. But she was letting me know that bad hearts or what have disposition of having heart problems ran in the family also. And even back then, you know it, in the 90s, I was tearing up my... Probably he was too, because that's how, brothers, growing up, you had the barbecue, man, but I was tearing them ribs up. I had a bowl of chitlins and
all that stuff. Yeah.
But nevertheless, him with having the predisposition of a heart problem running in his family, so he passed, man. He took a stroke first. And with this stroke he started declining because he was a very athletic guy. I mean, he was just an active kind of guy. And his mom was saying, well, you know how Mike was? And he just went down with depression and everything. And it went from there. And I guess over a 2-year period after the stroke, then he died.
Yeah.
Young man, and I'm thinking at that time, in the 90s, heck, I was in my 30s.
Yeah. He's young, brother.
He was young, man.
Yeah. And that just goes to show, man, we, as we waking up and we coming in this truth and we in repentance, we got to be careful of those signs of self-hatred. And we got to be able to fix those things. As soon as we see them, we got to fix it with the word of God. We got to get into these laws and figure out how we can fix it. We can figure out how to fix, overcome all these things with the word of God. To reverse these things, so I say. You can reverse your body declining from smoking, just stop smoking. Over drinking, stop over drinking. Change your dietary to the God's dietary. You don't have to face those diseases. Also, too, and we don't look in this area, but the brothers, we got to look in this area with these sexual enhancement pills and things they got. Those are bad for your heart. You trying to, use these pills and they're tearing your body up. You're destroying your temple, brother. If it ain't natural, you got your wife, you got to do something natural, man. These things is full of what they call fillers and all that stuff like that. They all type of chemicals, and it's made up in some type of laboratory, man. This ain't, it ain't good. So we gotta fix those things. All right. Another thing. Another thing is, showing self-hatred. Oh, man. Oh, man. Is you try to get away and avoid your own people.
Well, they got the men's clinics now. I think you don't have to go to out on 7th Street no more.
Oh, man. Yeah, that too.
No, man.
Let's go to Isaiah 65:2 real quick and read down.
Okay. Isaiah 65:2.
Yeah.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 2. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts.
Right.
A people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face.
He said, the people that provoked me to anger continue to my face.
That sacrificeth in the gardens and burneth incense upon the altars of brick. Which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments. Which eat swine's flesh.
So they're eating swine's flesh.
And broth of abominable things.
So they're eating the broth of unclean foods. See that? Unclean foods.
Abominable things.
Abominable things.
So they was boiling mouse and beaver and all kind of stuff, possum, and ain't no telling.
Yeah. All those unclean foods. God hates those things. God hates that action. He hates that act.
Squirrel and rabbit.
Squirrel, rat.
Yeah, rabbit.
Swine, weasel.
You see, we growing up thinking them things was okay because, Esau would turn people on to them things, coming from, say, from the time I was born on back. You would hear people always talk about, we were old country folk. We was down home and, in the country and such and such. And so they got acquainted with eating those things. Maybe Esau, he ate his first, they still do eat their fair share of pork. They got a thing called burgoo. The white folks got a thing of bird called burgoo. Burgoo is a southern type of, certain time of year, they have burgoo festivals and such. Now, what we black folks would call, mom and them would call, say, like a stew. Say, they might have stewed meat like steak meat, chicken, put several different types of meats in with a bunch of vegetables and stuff like that. And I know, there's variations, but burgoo is about the same thing, but that was the Edomites version. And they would use a lot of wild, some good things, but some abominable things, because you know how they do now. They can you go to a restaurant, you can have something good, but they'll make it abominable because they got to put bacon on it. But this burgoo that would consist of like deer meat, some beef, maybe chicken. But now they make it abominable because now they got to throw in the rabbit and the squirrel, some coon and possum and all that other kind of thing, So that was kind of like, some people would say that was survival food. The way back during depressions and some things, I wasn't even born in the depression. I might look like it, but I ain't saying but back in those times when people lived off the land, so to speak, and maybe they would always say, well, we had to eat what we had, eat what we could catch. They got used to eating groundhog and beaver and stuff like that in certain areas. Even up north. Up north in like Canada and places, upper New York areas, there were white folks. They still to this day, people still hunt these animals and eat them. They learned how to prepare them.
And it's an abominable act. Read verse 5.
Isaiah 65 and verse 5. Which say, stand by thyself, come not near me, for I am holier than thou. These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day.
See, it's keep reading.
Verse 6, behold, it is written before me, I will not keep silence, but will recompense into their bosom.
See, he says, will stand by thyself, come not near me, for I am holier than thou. See, and then God says, these are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. So we gotta get out of that act. Eating those unclean foods is something that is even detestable. It's detestable to God. God does not like that thing right there. We put those things in our temple. We are defiling our temple. Those things will destroy us. You know, we cannot eat those unclean foods. That is an abominable act. And when we commit those things, it's a smoke in God's nose. He hates it. You know, but a lot of our pastors, just like these pastors out here today, they say, well, I'm still holy. You know, I'll eat down a pork chop, man. I'm still holy. I'm still good. You know, but they don't tell you the flip side of that. They'll say that, but they feel those repercussions for breaking God's laws.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the black, Hispanics, Native Indians. He'll tell you, oh, I'm good. I'm gonna eat that pork chop. I'm still holy. I'm still this. I'm still that. But and the flip side is he got to take 4 or 5 pills to get that blood pressure down.
Mm-hmm. They be talking about Pastor Jones is in the hospital.
Yeah.
You know, he's having a tough time. So everybody pray for him, you know.
Yeah.
And that's because they've been serving them ham hocks and everything, you know, and them green beans.
He's been sucking down pork chops and ham hocks and pig feet.
Still going to Applebee's eating them ribs.
Yeah. With the shrimp sprinkled on top and all that.
Crab and lobster. They ain't fooling nobody.
They ain't fooling nobody. You ain't fooling God either. So
they done prayed over 1,000 times.
Oh, yeah.
Still didn't do no good.
You know, so this is a few of those things that show you, you know, self-hatred. All right. You know, you gotta love the fact that you are an Israelite. You know, you gotta love that fact. You know, you don't form that hate. Don't form hate with people that look like you. Israelite man, Israelite woman. Don't form that hate. You know, some of our people, man, they can't. It's hard for some of our people to say they love themselves. That's another sign right there. You can't even look in the mirror. You can't even tell yourself, I love me. You know, that is a sign right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because the scripture says you got to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So that means first you must have love for yourself. Then you got to have love for your neighbor. So that means you got to love yourself. You can't have self-hate. Be revolutionary, be an Israelite. You can't have that self-hate. Because you'll end up putting that hate onto your people.
I remember watching, I don't know, it was Oprah or somebody's show. It was a long time ago. This few, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. And there was a young black girl, man. She hated being black.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
And she was talking about how she would take baths in Clorox. You bathe a child and getting all these different products that's supposed to lighten your complexion. She was spending money. I mean, she ain't no telling how much money a young lady spent. Worthless. I mean, you know, just
trying to bleach her skin.
You know. And she ain't wasn't bleaching her skin, man. She just spending money.
Yeah.
Wasting money, you know.
Money. That's self-hate. I've seen videos though where they sit them in that pool. Sit them in like a pool or some little hot tub. And they put this chemical and just scrape off the black off their skin.
Oh, wow.
By the time they get out that little pool or tub, whatever it is, man, they looking like a light bright, man.
Huh. Oh,
yeah. Look at your boy. Who's that baseball player? Was it Sammy Sosa?
I think so, Sammy Sosa.
The brother was dark. He's about my complexion. Now he's as light as Michael Jackson was, man. Bleaching the skin, man. That is a form of self-hatred. You trying to whitewash yourself.
Man, that's crazy.
We got to come out of that thing, man. Our people got to, this why it's time for our people to wake up, repent. Because That's showing that's sign of self-hatred. That's showing that you not only hate yourself, but you hate your people. You know, we gotta repent. We gotta come back as Israelites. We gotta keep God's commandments. We gotta shed that mindset. So to love another nation and to hate yourself, that is a form of the Stockholm Syndrome. You know, it's a physical response, and they say that it's seen in abducted hostages. I said it right, hostages.
Hostages.
Because that term came from, you know, in 1973, right, in Stockholm, Sweden, some bank robbers held some bank employees for 6 days. And within that time frame, the hostages became emotionally attached to those that was holding them hostage.
Wow.
That's where this term came from. So they began to be attached to the victimizer, to the person that was oppressing them, to the person that was holding them hostage. And they even began to start defending them.
Wow. So when the police come, the negotiating team or whatever, you know how they do, I guess the people held hostage.
They were free, but they went back to try to help them.
That's deep right there.
That's deep. That's where this term comes from. The Stockholm Syndrome is from this incident that happened right at this time frame.
That's deep. Wow.
So when we say our people got the Stockholm Syndrome, this is what it's talking about.
That's what it's talking about.
You have formed an attachment to your oppressor.
So that's why our people tend to say the things and do the things they do. Defending the very people
that oppressed, that's got them held hostage.
Even their oppressed their forefathers and all our people that are dead and gone. Man, you know the old term, they probably rolled over their grave twice. Yeah. You know, all the things that they went through. And here we are, wanting to love on them.
Yeah. See, that's a heck of a thing. See, we also got to take into consideration our people. They want to feel more. They want to feel less oppressed. So they feel like, well, if I sympathize with them, they will take it easier on me.
Oh wow, yeah.
This thing is. That's why I say this thing is by design, man. You know,
but it's trickery.
It's trickery.
It's deception. Because if you do that, then the oppressor feels like, man, we got him.
Yeah. And what they do, they got you mentally.
You just keep on doing what we doing, and they gonna forgive us.
Yeah.
They'll never retaliate.
And you gotta realize when you sympathize with them, you try to feel less oppressed. You also will take hold of the things that they do.
That's why we killing one another.
That's why we killing one another. That's why we still celebrating Christmases and Thanksgiving, the mass murdering of our people. The mass murdering of our people. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me we're going to celebrate the mass murdering of our people? That is the Stockholm Syndrome right there.
Mm-hmm. This you become sick in the head.
You are sympathizing with the person that is oppressing you, that's holding you hostage. Damn. That make you think.
Wow,
man. So, you know, I just want to share that information with our people, man, and to try to enlighten my people. To enlighten means to bring forth light into a dark place. Give me Proverbs 6 and verse 23 real quick. Trying to bring forth light in a dark place. We know that darkness also too represents sin, and this light represents the commandments of God.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and the reproofs of the instructions are the way of life.
It says the law is light. So when we enlighten our people, we give them the commandments. Those commandments will bring forth life. They will save our people. That order, that instruction will save our people from death. If I can enlighten you on what to eat and what not to eat, so you can help keep your temple intact, is that not enlightening your brother or sister? Yeah. So everybody gonna talk about enlightening one another. We enlightening our brothers right now by telling you eat pork, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're gonna catch high blood pressure, gout, all these different diseases that come forth for putting the unclean things in your body that's going against the natural use of the body.
Mm-hmm.
How much more enlightened can you get, huh?
Well, you know our deep brothers. I think our brothers that like to think deep and talk deep. They
Try to sound deep.
Yeah, sound deep. They always speaking of the. It made me think of something here when you said about the enlightenment. But you know where our brothers are. They get to talk about the Illuminati.
Yeah.
You know this society that's supposed to be up on a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, we the Illuminati.
We
are the enlightened
ones, yeah.
For real. Yeah, because we got the word of God.
The word of God. But see, to a brother, you know, they want to hear 2 + 2 = 4, brother, and 4 this and 4 that, and brother this, and the rule of this and the rule of that, and this and that, down to the city unit, and the bones, and the this and the structure of that, the scientific this.
Times pi.
Times 5.
Times pi.
Times pi. 3.14.
Yeah. With the sign and the cotangents and all that.
See, if you ain't talking like that, they think that you ain't enlightened. Brother, let me tell you something, man. We can give you something that's going to save your life way more than a math equation. You know.
It was written on the side of a pyramid. It was deep down in the pyramid. See, that was lost secrecy. And our Most High God kicked the Egyptians all in the you know, kicked them all in there. Embarrassed them and everything. But our people, well, just like in Isaiah 30, I think it's 30, when our people want to walk back down to Egypt, you know, and seek knowledge or whatever.
See, our people, what they don't understand is we was way more enlightened than what they was, because look at Joseph. You know what I'm saying? We go back to Joseph. He enlightened. He gave knowledge to them.
To them. So where do you think they got the knowledge?
There you go. That's the whole point. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, you got to understand, our brothers, we way more enlightened in Israel than what our people's giving us credit for.
Mm-hmm. Everybody else was seen to copycat off of us and then claim that they came out
that way.
Yeah.
Well, I hope our brothers and sisters got some edification for today. I know it's probably a little bit long of a class, but our brothers and sisters, we needed that. You know, it's a lot to digest. Run it back, repeat it, put your headphones in, study it. I hope our people got some edification. I love my brothers and sisters, man. I hope we get it right. I hope our people repent. And we are TTIC. And with that, I'd like to say, shalom.